Hey, I'm Dan Cotton, the owner of Oregon Dream Teams, a competitive cheerleading gym hosted out of Beaverton, Oregon. I'm the coach of our World's Level 6 team. I've been coaching the World's Level 6 program since 2010. And I am also the coach of our medium senior 4, and we were the D2 Summit champions in 2025. And I want to talk to you about our leveling and placement philosophy at Oregon Dream Teams. Now, one of the big things I think that is important to know is to understand what you can accomplish in competitive cheerleading. So when you are doing competitive cheer, there are really 3 things that you can guarantee you accomplish. One is that you can have fun. Competitive cheerleading is so much fun. It is an absolute blast. It is an addictive sport, and athletes truly enjoy participating in it. Number 2 is you can be competitively successful. So you can actually have a chance to win. It's not guaranteeing you're going to win. I used to say you can win, have fun, and the number 3 one I'm going to talk about, but I took out win and say be competitively successful, because being competitively successful means you have the ability to win. Meaning you could, if you show up, depending on the competition that shows up that day, you could win. And not in a division against yourself, but like you could be competitively successful on the national stage. You could be in the mix to try and win. That's what I view as being competitively successful. There are teams that can go out and hit a routine and not be competitively successful. And there are routines that can go out and have little issues and still be competitively successful. It's all about kind of how it is built. So you can be competitively successful, you can have fun, and the last one is you can push performing skills outside your level in the context of a routine. So I can go out and I can compete skills that I haven't yet mastered. The problem is with those, like I can go out, if I just got my full recently, I could go and compete that full, but I'm probably not going to land it consistently every single time. Or maybe I got a back handspring, but my back handspring doesn't have great technique. Maybe it has froggy legs. Maybe I don't block super strong out of it. I can do a single standing back handspring, but I can't perform a back handspring step out, back walkover, back handspring with excellent technique. And I can compete those skills too. I can do all of those. So those are all 3 options. I can be competitively successful, I can have fun, and I can compete skills that I have not yet mastered for the development and grow in those skills all year long. However, we've found that you can really only ever have 2 at the same time. So you can be competitively successful and you can have fun, but you're not going to be competing those skills that are outside your level of mastery. You can perform skills outside of your level of mastery and you can have a whole lot of fun, but you are not going to be competitively successful because your coaches are going to be making sure you have a great time. They're going to be making sure you're safe and that you're just learning and growing throughout the season. But your likelihood of going out there and womping the competition at a D1 summit where you're going up against people who've been competing level 3 for 6 years, you're probably not going to do that. You're not going to be competitively successful pushing skills outside your level and trying to have fun. You can be competitively successful and compete in a division that you have not yet mastered your skills to at the start of the season, but you are going to have next to 0 fun. Your coaches are going to have to mold you forcibly into mastery. You are going to have to practice all the time. You're going to have to take extra privates. Like that gym, that team is going to become your job and it's going to be full time because you've got to get to mastery to be competitively successful. So if you're going to start making a team that you have not mastered those skills and you're going to compete on a team that you don't have mastered, by the end of the season, you need to have them mastered if you want to be competitively successful, which means you're probably not going to have a lot of fun unless you are just that person who loves the struggle and the fight and the push and your body to be sore and for things to crash and not work out. So you have to pick 2 of the 3. And I'll be honest, we vary. Sometimes we have teams that are having fun and pushing skills outside their level, but they're not as competitively successful. We know that going into a season. Our goal as a gym is, generally speaking, to always have fun and be competitively successful. That's ultimately how we like to build our teams. That is our goal. We like our teams to be built with athletes who have mastered the skills that they're going to be competing. But I would be lying to you if I said that our World's Level 6 team is that. When we make a medium co-ed 6, we take kids who have not yet mastered their skills. Our Worlds program has always been a Worlds program where we know we have to develop skills all year long. So there will be athletes who will get their double full in November that will compete that double full at Worlds, meaning they did not have one when they made the level 6 team, which likely means that they weren't truly an elite level 6 athlete performing all those elite level 6 skills. That's our level 6 program, and that tends to be the main program that we do that. We also sometimes do it in our lower levels where we have really great level of mastery in tumbling skills, but we don't always have that level of mastery in stunting skills. And we know because the bulk of the team doesn't have those stunting skills mastered that they maybe won't be as competitively successful at the start of the season. It's going to be a longer road for them to build up that strength and ability to perform those more difficult stunts in the context of a routine, even though they can tumble at a higher level. So we are always trying to balance it. Ultimately, our main focus is trying to have fun and be competitively successful. Those are our two preferences. We prefer push learning skills and mastering skills outside of practices. Now, after knowing that's our mindset and our frame of reference, how do we actually place the teams? Well, number one is we use the chess approach. And when I say chess, I mean chess like the board game. I will often say it's chess, not checkers. Checkers is very simple. I move forward, I jump the other piece. Chess, I'm thinking 19 steps ahead. I'm looking at, how does my pawn moving here affect my rook over here and my king over there? I have to think through all of those things. And that's really what building a cheer team is. We have to look at a wide range of factors. What is the age of the athletes? What is the maturity? What is the mindset? What is their ability in stunting? What is their position in stunting? Are they a base? Are they a secondary? Are they a back spot? Are they a flyer? Are they more of a tumbler? What are those positions? How well do they tumble? How well do they jump? How well do they dance? How do they perform? We're having to factor all of these things in because you can't just build a team based on tumbling. That is not going to be an effective team because just because you can do a round-up back handspring back tuck does not mean that you're a level 3 athlete across the board. It just means you have a round-up back handspring back tuck. If you cannot hold a foot at level 3, or you cannot fly a level 3 stunt, or you cannot back a level 3 stunt, then you're going to be a utility tumbler. And there's only about maybe 5 spots on any team, depending on the size of team, that you can afford to have someone who doesn't stunt and is only a tumbler. And even then, our tumblers have to stunt when we get to pyramid. They've got to be able to do at least basic skills. And your better teams are your teams where athletes are able to do everything. Those are the most useful athletes and the best teams where you have the bulk of your team can do any tumbling skill, can do any stunting skill, and can really be more plug and play. It makes the choreography much more seamless because I'm not having to worry about, well, I've only got 3 people who can do this skill and they're all over here and I need at least 2 over here. And now that messes things up, as opposed to being like when my choreographer looks at me and says, who here can do a back handspring? And I say, anyone you want. And they say, who here has the best technique? And I say, well, those 5 athletes have the best technique, but they all have good technique, and I would let them all compete it. That makes a choreographer's job way easier. And same thing when they're like, hey, can this person stunt with that person? Yeah, they got it. No problem. Well, what can that person stunt with this person? Yep, we can switch it up. Our stunters are strong. They know what they're doing. They're able to perform the skill depending on who they're with. So it doesn't necessarily matter. So we have to, when we place teams, we're actually factoring in all of those things. We do look at, okay, this is a medium team, so we need to have 6 back spots and we need to have 6 flyers. This is a minimum. 6 back spots, 6 flyers, 6 main bases, 6 secondary bases. You have to have that to field a medium team. If you want to field a small team with 22, then you have to have 5 bases, 5 secondaries, 5 back spots, and 5 flyers. Like, you have to have that in order to build a successful team. Otherwise, you won't be able to score well on the score sheet. So you have to strategize those things in, which is why, as a parent, you might be confused and say, well, why did that athlete make the team? They don't have all the tumbling. And that's because we don't have to have everyone tumble. Only as long as you have 75% of your team is able to contribute in a tumbling category, and you can even get by with less, like you could do 60% probably. As long as you have 75% of your team able to contribute to the tumbling side of the score sheet, you can be very competitively successful. You don't need every single athlete to tumble. Just like I don't need every single athlete to be an amazing base, or I don't need every single athlete to be a phenomenal back spot. Like, even with the 6 stunt groups, one of those stunt groups can be a little more hodgepodgey, because they only have to perform one elite skill, and most divisions have an elite dismount. That's like the easiest elite skill you can do in any of the divisions, however long that lasts. So there are a lot of options. There's a lot of nuance as we make these decisions, and we take a lot of time. This is one of the reasons at our gym that we do level placements and then team evaluations, because we really want to look at athletes holistically. We want to see, what is their mindset? How well do they stunt? Did they have a really great tryout period where they had a great stunting day and a great tumbling day? Or maybe they had a horrible day. Maybe they're way better than what they showed us, and we want time to be able to assess those things. So we really take our time, we really analyze what the athletes are doing, and then we take that chess approach to build as much of the perfect team as we can. Another thing that we do at our gym is we take alternates on teams. I will never go back to a world where I don't take alternates, because I have yet to have a season where every single team has not needed an alternate at some point in time. You need to have alternates on teams. Now, we at ODT believe that alternates should always be on an additional team. They shouldn't just have their only team be the team that they're an alternate on, but they should be an alternate on teams. Typically, we'll give athletes who are maybe not quite at a level the opportunity to be an alternate on a higher level. That gives them the ability to, when people are missing, they get to step in and train. So for instance, last night, we're headed into spring break. We had an athlete missing from our level 4 practice. We actually had 2 athletes missing from level 4 practice, and we had 2 alternates in there doing our elite stunts. Now, we could have just not done them, but because we had alternates, getting them in there, letting them learn how to do it, gets them ready, where if there was an emergency when we're in Florida at Summit, they would already know how to back the skill or base the skill. They would know the context of the routine. So we also will place alternates, and alternates are not a throwaway. Alternates are important. In fact, many alternates end up on the mat by the end of the season. So when we're placing teams, we're thinking about all of those things. We're also thinking about the team dynamic and the team vibe. We want to make sure that there are leaders on the team. We want to make sure that there are athletes who are going to step up. We do look at attitude. We will always lean into, if we have 2 athletes that are absolutely equal, an athlete that has a good attitude will beat out the athlete that has a bad attitude and is not coachable. And even if they're not equal, sometimes an athlete who is coachable, who maybe isn't quite as skilled, a coach will gladly take over the athlete who isn't coachable or misses practice all the time, isn't dependable. Coaches will look at that and say, I don't want to rely on that person. I'm going to take this person first, and then if I have room, I'll take that person too, and I'm not going to rely on them. So you need to think about how across the board you're showing your coaches you're going to be a great asset to the team. So this is how we do things at ODT. This is our leveling and placement philosophy. I hope you've learned something about it. If you're a gym owner, I hope you got some ideas. If you're a gym owner, go and listen to the Cheer Biz podcast. We got some really great content that I put out over there, more focused on the business side of thing. Coaches, hopefully you learned something, and especially parents and athletes checking out ODT, trying to figure out if that is the right place for you. I would love to meet you. We would love to talk to you, myself or Tori or any of my coaching team. We'd love to chat with you and tell you about Oregon Dream Teams and why it might be the perfect fit for you and your athlete's journey in cheer.